Hey guys, Coach Ian here from Asgardian Strength, and today we're going how to train your forearms bigger, thicker, and stronger. The big thing here to consider is going to be integration, so making sure that we're doing this just once a week to start. Let yourself do that for maybe a month, maybe even 6 weeks, and then from there you can maybe push to maybe twice, maybe include half the workout, and then from there, give yourself another 4 to 6 weeks, and then maybe do it twice per week. The reason why is we're not talking about just muscles here, but just the tendons and ligaments and the bones. I used to be a mover for years, so I used to lift bags of paper. Sometimes it weighed 100 plus pounds and I'd carry them for pretty long distances. So my hands got really good at picking up stuff in a really crappy position. So when I started grip training, I had some pretty good general prep. I didn't just start going to the gym and starting to work on my grip. I've done things all my life that have had to require a pretty fucking good grip. So when you guys are starting out, do it slow, make sure you guys are smart about it, and let's get a good workout in.
We're going to start off with some radial and ulnar deviations. Big key with this is to make sure that the hand stays tight. I'm using a loading pin, but you can easily use a dowel to do the same thing. Make sure that hand is tight. It's like if you're doing a squat or deadlift, the feet have to be tight. Same thing with this hand. If it's not, you're going to feel things that are moving around, and that's not going to probably feel good in the long term. So make sure you're taking care of the stability there. So I got this next one from a massage therapist. One of my clients went to them with medial elbow pain and they recommended to be centrics. So I grabbed a loading pin and found this worked really, really well. The key here is to make sure that the shoulder blade is locked in tight, the chest is up, so that way you can make sure the elbow stays in a good position, so it's a rotation on an axis, not hitting any other motions. Up to 10, maybe 12 reps per side, 3 to 5 seconds on the eccentric. Same thing with the other exercise. Make sure the hand is tight. Hand should not be loose when you do this. Russian wrist curls are the shit. I love doing these. Big range of motion. Make sure you hit 15 plus if you can. And I like to lock the shoulder blades in. It just helps to make sure that my biceps don't get too much work. They are going to get a little bit of work in this position, but if you can make sure that you get nice and tight around that shoulder blade, lock it in tight, it just makes sure that you don't have too much stress on the front of that shoulder. Don't go till absolute failure either. Make sure there's 1 or 2 reps in the tank. That way you can pull the kettlebell back onto the blue pad. And the big thing here is you don't have to do this standing, my princess way. You can do this laying down. You can also do this on a bench. So for maximal grip strength exercise, I chose the Rolling Thunder. There was a competition this past weekend and all of the big guys did it, so I got to see where I stacked up on this. I worked up to 185 pounds with my left hand. My right, I slammed into a car door earlier this year, so my knuckle's still kind of bruised. But yeah, wasn't too unhappy with that, seeing as the most I've done is like just over 190. But a big thing here is to make sure you keep your hand turned in. Do not let it turn out. If you let it turn out, you run the risk of tearing your bicep. So make sure you don't do that. Here it is right here, 183.7 pounds. Boom. For a grip endurance exercise, I chose a pinch grip sled drag. These just suck, man. They're horrible. I chose half a plate too much, so I end up having to transfer back and forth between left to right. But if I was to do this my preferential way, it would be to do with like 1.5 plates and then just try and go the entire length. You can use 2 hands if you want. If you do start to get really tired with the one, transferring back and forth is really helpful just to kind of finish the set. Bottoms up kettlebell carries are definitely underrated when it comes to grip training. It takes a lot of strength to have to hold that kettlebell in position and balance it. It also has some good pressing carryover and is good for the rotator cuff. After that, I do some reverse grip bicep curls. Do a lot of reps here. I'd say minimum 12, 15, maybe up to 20, 25 reps. The goal here is that we're not trying to give ourselves tendonitis by going crazy heavy. We're trying to train the small muscles around the forearms, which means they need a load that is appropriate. Don't go heavy. This is not for getting, huge biceps before the club. This is to train the smaller muscles around the forearms. And to finish up the day, I do a body weight hang. If you can, transfer back and forth between one hand. The goal here is just max time, or if your grip really sucks, what I would suggest doing is set a certain time limit on it, let's say 1 minute, 2 minutes, and every time you drop, stop the clock and only start it when you're up there. That'll at least give you something measurable to start with and at least something that you can work towards. It also helps stretch out the biceps, which we just trained, and all the other forearm muscles as well too. So this is just good for some rehab and just general prep.